Hello, everyone, and many thanks for joining today's stream news summary from Moscow program. It is 25th of March, 12 p.m. Moscow time, and I have prepared, I think, quite an interesting news segment for you, and hopefully you will find it interesting too. A lot is going on, of course, and before I go through all the news that I have bookmarked for this update, let me just remind you that after live stream ends, basically, video will be unlisted on both my channels on YouTube and Rumble, and original links will be accessible on my Patreon and Boosty pages. In case you want to support my work, consider to subscribe to Patreon or Boosty, and you will have uninterrupted access to full shows whenever you want, anytime, and that will be great support, of course. And right now, I'm gonna drop a link to my Patreon, by the way, in the chat on both platforms, on YouTube and Rumble. Hopefully, algorithm will not delete the link. This is a Patreon, and also I want to drop in the YouTube chat link to my Rumble channel, link to live stream, and in case you want to support my channel on Rumble or use super chat there, which is not available on YouTube, link is there in the chat, so you can just click in there, and rest is intuitive, right? You will know what to do there. Okay, dear friends, enough for intro. Let's go through some news, and I'm a bit horrified because of the number of news that I bookmarked for this update. It might last for freaking 3 hours, man. I don't know, but a lot is going on, and despite the fact that world's attention is, of course, focused on Iran and their developments in the Middle East, this unprovoked war of choice that US and Israel are waging against people of Iran. I'm going to start with the proxy war that West is waging against Russia. And for example, we have this report this morning from Russian Defense Ministry's latest update that all the media outlets here in Russia are reporting about, that air defenses at night intercepted 389 drones that were launched by formerly Kiev regime, in reality by NATO. This is a NATO strike on the Russian Federation. And on my memory, by the way, there was no instance when during the nighttime alone, this many drones were intercepted by Russian air defenses. Probably this is a record number of drones that were launched past night by NATO and their proxy Ukrainian fascists to strike on Russian territory. I can give you some details. So 389 drones were intercepted over the Bryansk, Smolensk, Kaluga, Kursk, Tver, Oryol, Belgorod, Tula, Pskov, Novgorod, Vologda, Leningrad regions, Moscow region, and Republic of Crimea, according to Defense Ministry. Lately, Russian media outlets stopped sharing number of drones that were intercepted in each region, or to be more precise, they begin to publish separately that this region was attacked by so many drones, this region by so many drones. This is not really convenient, I will say. Would be better if they will share in one news reporter all the details about night attacks. My recommendation, if by chance they are listening, right? I know nowadays everybody is about clicks, almost everybody, by the way, is about clicks and views and stuff, but you don't have to make life more difficult for your readers, right? Give us a one news made properly. That's it, right? Anyways, I think it's a record number of drones that were launched by NATO to strike deep into Russia past night. And I guess during the day, Russian air defenses will be busy also, and probably another 100, 200, 300, God knows how many, but probably a lot of drones will be intercepted too. And when it comes to details, what I just said, by the way, I mean, media began reporting separately about each region when it comes to strikes. And RIA Novosti is also reporting that 113 drones from this 389 were intercepted over the Bryansk region. And what is also interesting, I think, 56 drones were intercepted over the Leningrad region. This direction has become quite active lately. Leningrad region, direction of St. Petersburg city of the Russian Federation. And as always, today, also, I'm not convinced that these drones were launched by Kiev regime or NATO from a Kiev-controlled territory. Most definitely, these drones were launched somewhere from Baltics, either from Estonia or Finland, maybe Sweden, by the way, Latvia, Lithuania, but not from Kiev-controlled territory, because I don't believe even for a second that that many drones, dozens and dozens of drones, were able to bypass Russian air defense systems from in regions that are between Leningrad or St. Petersburg, let's say, and the Chernigov region of this so-called Ukraine, or the Sumy region, most northern parts, let's say. I don't believe in that. It's not happening, right? Not possible. So most definitely these drones are launched from NATO territories. And I truly don't understand why we are not striking these countries, whichever it is, man. I don't give a fuck. It is Finland or Sweden or Norway or Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, whichever it is, man. Let's fucking nuke them, right? Let's not even use conventional weapons. Let's fucking nuke those motherfuckers, man, right? Their bases. I'm not talking about nuking freaking civilian areas. Let's nuke their freaking base, right? Biggest base that they have, military base. Let's turn those animals into a freaking radioactive duster. And that will be a good enough lesson for everybody. Never ever to mess around Russia. What are we fucking doing, man? I don't get it. I don't get it, man. And I said at one point, they're going to overwhelm Russian air defenses. It's only a matter of time. And if we do nothing, or if we only retaliate on the Kiev-controlled territory, well, they will come when Kiev regime and NATO on daily basis will launch up to 1,000 drones, maybe even thousands, right? Because let's not kid ourselves. Manufacturing industrial capacities of Europe and the US, NATO countries are 10, 20 times bigger than our capabilities. Let's not be freaking fools and think that we can outproduce our enemies. It's not happening. They have bigger economies, bigger manufacturing capabilities, right? And only fool can believe that this is not the case, man. And already we have indicators day in, day freaking out that at least in a drone production, seems like NATO countries are outmatching us already. And the situation only going to deteriorate from now on. And if last night Russian air defenses intercepted 389 drones, and God knows how many was not intercepted because they managed to avoid their defenses, in 2 weeks from now, we might see 500 number instead of 389. We might see 700 number. And then what? Yes, we have best air defenses in the world, but you can overwhelm any air defense, right? Even freaking Israel, by the way, tiny entity, cannot protect its airspace 100% at a time. It's not possible. And what about Russia, biggest country in the world? So, okay, maybe I'm too extreme when I'm saying that let's fucking nuke them. Although I think that would make sense, by the way, really, if we obliterate our biggest military base in NATO countries, in every freaking NATO country that are engaged in this war against Russia. They killed our citizens, so we have every right to retaliate as hard as we choose. And I don't give a fuck who will say what, that you should not use nukes and it's a too extreme force and you should use convention. I don't give a fuck, man, right? I see enemy, I want my enemy to be obliterated, literally turn into freaking dust. That's what I want. Period. Right? Enemy is enemy, man. I don't give a fuck how we kill them. Let's fucking kill them, right? And sooner we do this, faster we'll do this, more effective we will do this, and most effective lessons we will teach to everybody, then better. Otherwise, just mark my word, community, it will only take a couple of weeks from now and our defense is going to get overwhelmed more and more and more. And at some point, casualty numbers, not just level of destruction on Russian territory, but casualty numbers going to skyrocket. And it's already high, very high. Just past week, according to Rodion Miroshnik, Russian high-ranking diplomat that tracks all the crimes that committed by Kyiv regime, including number of casualties among civilians. Rodion Miroshnik, the day before yesterday, shared the stats about past week. More than 130 people wounded, 14 people killed. Just in 1 week. This is civilians, by the way. These are not combatants. And this number might reach 1,000 if we continue this nonsensical freaking restraint policy that we are adopting for freaking, I don't know, 4 years now, 5th year. Are we freaking suicidal? What the fuck is wrong with us, man? What the fuck is wrong with us? That's the only question I have at this point. Look what Iran does, man. They don't give a fuck. They are launching, striking back on everything that they can reach. They don't give a fuck. They are not messing around, man. They are not playing no games. And why we play these games, man? That hurts us, right? Hurts our citizens. What the fuck? Really? And as a confirmation that these drones are launched from NATO countries that are targeting Leningrad region, look this report that Ukrainian drone crashes in a NATO state. Ukrainian drone, which was part of a swarm targeting Russia, has crashed in Lithuania. Prime Minister of this Chihuahua entity, this fascist entity, basically, Inga Ruginiene told reporters after a meeting with the national security officials in Vilnius on Tuesday. According to this creature, so-called Prime Minister of Lithuania, Ukrainian drone involved in attacks on Russia's Baltic Sea port of Primorsk near St. Petersburg was suppressed by electronic warfare and went down in southern Lithuania on Monday. And now let's check, by the way, map. This is Lithuania here, right? This is this motherfucking Lithuania. And this is Leningrad region. And this is St. Petersburg, right? So you're gonna tell me that Russian air defenses suppressed drone somewhere here, and these drones flew all the way through Estonian space, Lithuanian space, airspace, without being detected, and crashed somewhere in Lithuania, while bypassing Estonia and Latvia, basically. That's what this creature, Prime Minister of Lithuania, is saying. They think we are all freaking stupid without our freaking brains or what? What the hell is going on here? Only explanation we can have about these drones is a simple. Either drone was launched from Lithuania and freaking crashed there due to some technical issues, or it was launched somewhere in the Baltics, in Estonia, Latvia maybe, possibly Finland or the Sweden, and due to some malfunction, lost their trajectory, lost the direction, and end up in Lithuania. But it is crazy to say that Kiev regime from Kiev controlled territory was targeting Leningrad region. This drone, allegedly launched by Kiev, managed to bypass 4 or 5 Russian regions until reaching Leningrad region. Then air defenses suppressed it, and it turned away and went all the way to freaking Lithuania. Those drones, I don't think those drones even have such a range to do such a trick. So this is yet another, at least indirect confirmation that these drones, by the way, are launched from NATO countries. And I'm quite sure Russian security services know perfectly well from which countries, from which NATO countries, but they have no authorization to say so, to make this information public, because in that case, society here in Russia will demand retaliation, understandably so. And for whatever reason, Russian president, genius of freaking all the time, as some thinks, not me though, but some clearly thinks that he is a freaking genius of the all the time. Russian president prefers to continue this nonsensical, harmful for Russia exercise of restraint policy that eventually kills Russian citizens. What the fuck are we doing, man? I don't know, man. I don't know. This is crazy. This is crazy, man. And something has to be done about this shit, man. Something has to be done. Otherwise, I don't even know what to think. Where are we gonna end up in a year from now or 5 years from now? We've been self-defeating for many years since the beginning of special military operations. Some might argue even since the 2014, we've been self-defeating with our policies. And this has to change. This has to fucking change. And whoever is in the circle of the Russian president either has to be removed from there because they are misleading Putin and pushing him towards the wrong decisions, or have to wake up and realize that if we continue on the current trajectory, we're going to end up in a bigger trouble than we are right now already. I mean, enough is enough, for God's sake, man. What the fuck is going on here? So don't you agree with me, community, that these drones that are at least targeting Leningrad region, most likely, most definitely, I have no doubts, by the way, not even for a second, that those drones are launched from freaking NATO territory. Nothing to be said about direct involvement of NATO in this war against Russia and in killing of the Russian citizens for many, many years now, in terms of supply of all sorts of weapons, including drones, sharing of their intelligence, navigation, flight path, navigation, targeting data for these long-range weapons, and many, many other things. They are in a war against us, right? They are killing us, and we, for whatever freaking reason, are acting as if we all are freaking idiots, dumb fucks, right? And have no idea what's going on. These fucking innocent European elites, man, this fucking innocent NATO leadership, our NATO countries, they are our partners. They don't do wrong, right? It's only freaking this Ukrainian fascists and the Nazis in Kiev that are doing all this. That's where we are. That's how dumb we are, really. Fuck it, man. State of emergency has been declared in Sevastopol following an explosion in a residential building as a result of yet a NATO strike, yet another act of war committed by NATO, fucking NATO, by the way. Following the explosion, regional state of emergency was declared in Sevastopol. Governor Mikhail Razvozhayev signed corresponding decree. The document states that the situation in the area of the residential buildings on Pavel Korchagin Street in the Gagarinsky district has been declared a state of emergency. The state of emergency remains in effect until further notice. The governor also ordered funding for disaster relief efforts. On the night of March 24, an explosion occurred in a building number 14 on Pavel Korchagin Street. 2 people were killed and 12 more were hospitalized. More casualties due to NATO aggression against Russia, due to this proxy war that Western ruling class is waging against Russia and the collective West, and we still are exercising this fucking restraint, man, right? For God's sake, man, are we really this fucking dumb? What the fuck is wrong with us, man? World is laughing at us. We become a laughing fucking stock. It's insanity. Sorry for my French community, but I mean, really, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? Do you understand what's going on? How many people we gonna lose to wake up? How many more people we gonna lose to wake up? What other damage has to be done to Russia? Our freaking elites to wake up and realize that, you know, something has to change, man. We need to adopt different policies because whatever we are adopting is not working. Why we are forcing Russian militaries and security services to do this freaking fight with the tied hands, man, with the hands being tied behind their back? What are we doing? I'm quite sure, man, if they had the green light, Russian militaries, Russian security services will finish this fucking war in a couple of weeks' time. I have no doubts about it, man. And because they have no green light, this long war has lasted for 4 years, 5th year now. And so many casualties, man, so many freaking casualties, man, including among civilians. It's just beyond anything, man. Explosion damaged several other buildings and fire broke out in one of them. A criminal investigation is underway for manslaughter and illegal possession of explosive devices and so on. For God's sake, is this... was this even caused by Ukrainian drone strike? I'm not sure now, man. But energy facilities in the Belgorod region were damaged by missile strike. It was not just a drone, but missiles too. But now, by the way, now I'm a bit emotional. I'm realizing now that there was an emergency in Sevastopol, actually, and this happened yesterday, I believe, and I'm not sure this was caused by NATO Ukrainian drone attacker. I might be wrong on that. There's so many freaking news that it's easy to get confused. But anyways, unfortunately, emergency has happened and people being killed and wounded as a result. But this situation, energy facilities that were targeted in the Belgorod region with the missiles, that's clearly what happened past night. Belgorod and Belgorod district were hit by missile attacks from outside. Governor Vyacheslav Gladkov reported. He added that energy facilities suffered significant damage. Power, water, and heat outages have been recorded. Will be able to assist the extent of the damage more precisely during their daylight hours. A missile alert was issued for Belgorod and Shebekino at 4:34 a.m. Moscow time, past night. So this was clearly NATO attack, right? Clearly NATO attack. And these casualties in Sevastopol also, by the way, NATO casualties due to NATO aggression against Russian Federation, because without this proxy war, if there wasn't this freaking proxy war, there would be no freaking explosions nowhere, and there would be no explosion. Therefore, it's all freaking collective West and NATO, and we have to deal with them. We have to deal with these motherfucking animals, man, that are in charge of our collective West. We have to kill them all. We have to kill them all, period, man. We don't have to talk to them. We just have to kill them all, because that's what you do with the rabid fucking animal. You kill it, period. And when it comes to casualties among Russian civilians, about 3,500 Russians were injured or killed by formerly Ukrainian, in reality NATO attacks on the Russian Federation in 2025. 3,500 casualties of Russian civilians in 2025 alone, due to this aggression against the Russian Federation by the West, by collective West, Western ruling class, call it whatever you want. So approximately 3,500 civilians in Russia, including about 200 children, were injured or killed due to attacks by Ukrainian drones in 2025. Russian Foreign Ministry ambassador at large for the crimes of the Kiev regime, Rodion Miroshnik, told the 61st season of the UN Human Rights Council. If you are interested, since 2014, more than 41,000 civilians have been affected by the criminal actions of the Kiev regime. Militants, since February 2022, at least 27,500 have been affected. Some unbelievable numbers, isn't it? And we are fucking tolerating this. We are tolerating this, man. Instead of obliterating our enemies, turning them into a freaking radioactive dust if necessary, we are exercising restraint. Okay. Such a genius freaking move, man. Such a genius fucking move to exercise restraint when your people being killed and wounded in the thousands, in tens of thousands. And well, Russian ambassador in UK, Andrei Kelin, once again highlighted that UK is directly involved in this war and pushes Ukraine to further escalate their conflict. Yes, this is true. By the way, we all know this. I have spoken about the involvement of UK, British intelligence and militaries, British ruling class, like million times by now. And they will continue to do so. That's the issue, by the way. They will continue to kill Russian citizens until we will kill them. That's how it is, man, right? It might not sound pleasant, it might not sound cool, but war is war, man. War is never cool. War is never good stuff. War is a horror, right? And unfortunately, this very same Britain is waging war against Russia and all the other fucking entities in NATO, right? Quasi-states. They are waging war against Russia. They are killing us, so we have to kill them. That's how war works. If you want to beat your enemy, you have to kill more of their legit targets, let's say. More of their militaries, more of their intelligence people, more of their political leaders. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to freaking win. That's it. And by the way, if we were actually banana freaking republic, okay, I would just shut the fuck up, right? But last time I checked, we were like nuclear superpower, kind of. I'm not quite sure. I mean, anymore. I mean, are we really have? Do we really have nukes? I mean, really? Because we're being targeted by freaking even chihuahuas left and right so long now that you know I'm beginning to question: are we really nuclear superpower here, or somehow we transformed into a banana republic, and no one gives a fuck about us no more? What's going on here? But officially, at least, we are a nuclear superpower. And if so, based on even open sources in regards to Russian military, actual military capabilities, we should be able to demilitarize UK in a matter of 30 minutes, maximum 1 hour. Literally demilitarized, by the way. When UK will no longer have a navy, whatever they call the navy, right? Including these nuclear capable Vanguard class submarines, we will fucking obliterate all of them, right? UK will no longer have even a single more or less important military base on their island or anywhere else, right? Cyprus, military base in Cyprus, we can obliterate like that. Diego Garcia, we can fucking make so that island will fucking disappear, man. Island itself, not just a base, but we will, turn into fucking dust internal island, entire island there, if we want to. And we can do this, man. It's a matter of 30 minutes to 1 hour. And UK no longer killing our citizens. UK is no longer killing our citizens, man. So let's fucking do this. Let's teach these motherfuckers a lesson, man. Let's teach British ruling class that their place is next to fucking Parasha, right? Next to toilet. That's where British ruling class, British aristocracy has to stay forever, even if we let them to leave, right? Let's do this, man. Same can be said about France. These fucking nobodies that pretend to be important. And we, for whatever reason, by the way, for whatever reason, are allowing these motherfuckers to kill our citizens with impunity. Both UK and France. And what about US? Don't we have opportunity to put US in its place? Oh, we do, man. We do. Look what Iran is doing. That's where we are, by the way. That's where we are. It's embarrassing what's happening, man. It's truly embarrassing. For me personally, being someone who was born in the USSR, by the way, descendant of people that fought fascists, right? And win, by the way, and achieve victory. I am embarrassed that these European nobodies are killing my fellow countrymen here with impunity. This is embarrassing. Painful and embarrassing. Are we lost to shame, by the way? I don't know, man. I'm talking about elites, right? These fucking elites, man. That's who am I talking about? About whom I'm talking about. These fucking despicable elites, man, right? That are guilty of a current situation. This will never come to this point if different policies were adopted. But we have fucked up elites, and the result is visible for everybody. That's how it is, man. That's how it is. And someone gonna come and say, oh, they are playing 4G chess or 5D chess or whatever. Seriously, man, give me a break, for God's sake, man. There are some people that somehow always assume that just because some motherfuckers are in a high-ranking official, high-ranking position anywhere in this world, by the way, in US or in UK or in just anywhere, there are people that assume that just because they reach this high-ranking position, they must be freaking geniuses. No, man, it does not work like that. It does not work like that. Usually, high-ranking positions are reached by people who are capable to sign up for anything, for the power and the money and the influence. Different people might have different incentives, right? And that's why there is a legendary say that goes like power only to be in the hands of people that don't really want it. And I understand why this is correct. Actual power only should be in the hands of people that don't fucking want no power, because power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And longer you have this power, longer you have this absolute power, more and more out of touch with reality you are becoming. It's just, it is what it is, right? You cannot change this. It's just rule of life, correct? So UK is pumping Ukraine with weapons to prevent an end to the conflict. Russian ambassador to United Kingdom, Andrei Kelin, said, yeah, this is true. We know this. And what we're going to do about it? That's the question, man. We know everything, almost everything, right? We are not as stupid as some people in the elites might think we are. You know, many of us understand what the fuck is going on. So Kelin is not saying anything new for me, I'm quite sure very many people here in Russia or elsewhere in this world. We know, by the way, we know that UK is involved directly. Question is what we're gonna do about it. Anything? Nothing? That's the question. All the steps taken by the British today indicate their desire to push Kiev to further escalation, pumping Kiev with the weapons, joint programs for the production of the drones and long-range missiles on the territory of the United Kingdom, training of Ukrainian armed forces soldiers. More than 60,000 were trained, by the way, I believe, there by British militaries. I'm not sure British militaries are in a position to train anybody, really, but nevertheless, that's what they did. Presence of British military medics, workshops, and specialists in repairing military equipment in Ukraine. Nothing indicates London's desire to end their conflict. Russian diplomat, Russian ambassador to UK, Andrei Kelin, stated, and he has a point. He is on point, man. I agree with everything he says. But question comes, what we're going to do about it. Okay, we know UK, France, US, Germany, all these entities are involved. Leadership of these countries, their intelligence, their militaries are involved in killing of Russian people. Question is what we're gonna do about it, if anything. Because statements alone, man, don't really help. I mean, statements alone don't really help, man. In this world, everyone understands already. I mean, whoever wanted to understand what's going on already understand as much as possible based on information in open sources, right? Because we don't really have any other source, just open fucking sources. So we know this. And now you tell me, our ambassador in UK, will we do anything about British involvement in a mass killing of the Russian citizens? Or French involvement in mass killing of the Russian citizens, or US involvement in mass killing of the Russian citizens. Will we do something about it? Will the Russian president greenlight Russian militaries and security services to take whatever actions they think are necessary? Not the freaking politicians that might have God knows what interests behind their decisions. I don't trust nobody, man. But I do trust militaries and security services. So will Russian president greenlight Russian security officers and Russian militaries to do whatever steps they think are necessary to teach the lessons to our enemies and to protect Russian citizens and Russian Federation as much as possible? That's the only question I have personally. How long those guys gonna fight with their hands being tied behind their backs, man? And how many brave soldiers and officers we're gonna lose because of it? And how many civilians? Sorry for being a bit emotional, but really, man, I mean, enough is enough, right? Enough is enough, man. This is not frustration no more, what me and many other people are feeling. This is something else. I don't even know what word would be correct, but this is something else, man. We are no longer frustrated. We are angry. Many of us. And as I said, Russian militaries, man, they do what they can in the current circumstances when their hands being tied behind their backs, and And for example, yesterday, a number of sources reported that allegedly Russian militaries launched a record number of drones to strike on Kyiv-controlled territory, 948. Russian Defense Ministry did not really share details on that scale about past night or about Russian long-range strikes during the past 24 hours, but could be true, by the way. Maybe Russian militaries decided that, you know what, they are ramping up launches to strike deep into Russia. You know, but let's launch also more drones than usually. Okay, this will work. I mean, we can do this for another, I don't know, man, couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks. Launch 1,000 drones every day. But this would not resolve their situation, isn't it? This would not resolve the situation because we are fighting not the Kyiv regime. If we were fighting Kyiv regime, this war would be end in weeks, right? But we are fighting against this Satan force that NATO is, right? And NATO, unfortunately, has NATO countries have much combined, much bigger combined productive or industrial capabilities that we do. So therefore, this war of attrition with NATO not necessarily gonna play out favorably for us, man. And in terms of drones, we already beginning to see that, isn't it? And I don't want Russia to face the reality when at some point, like a year from now, let's say, Kyiv regime gonna have like more artillery pieces on the battlefield than we do, or more shells for this artillery than we do, more MLRS systems than we do. I don't want this to happen. And the only way we can avoid such scenario is to strike on a hornet's nest, right? We have to obliterate a hornet's nest in order to deal with the situation. And this hornet's nest is in NATO, not in Kiev, by the way, not in Lvov, in the West, right? In London, in Paris, in Berlin, in Washington. Am I correct? Am I correct, man? I know I am, right? I don't know, man. Either Russian president is misinformed big time, or due to age, he's just become too soft, man. Too soft, and refuses to take necessary steps because maybe he considers those steps to be too harsh. I mean, some people, while aging, yes, are becoming very soft, right? That's nature of humanity, many humans, right? Some people, when you are getting older, you are becoming more softer. You hate aggression. You hate, all you want is chill, right? Kind of. But no, man, when you are on a high-ranking position, when you are president of the Russian Federation, you have no right to be soft. You just have no right on that, because you have to be tough. This comes with the territory. You have to be tougher and make tough decisions for which you might never be forgiven, even, right? Maybe at some points you have to make a decision for which you will guarantee yourself a place in hell. But in order to save your people, you have to do this anyways, right? You have to sacrifice your soul, but take necessary action. And if you are not capable of sacrificing yourself, then you should not be on a high-ranking position. That's how it is, period. I can die, by the way, right? I decided for myself, very first time I was threatened while working in the journalism, I decided then, decades ago now, that if I'm going to continue working in this field, then I have to be ready to die. And there I am, right? And I am actually, psychologically. At that point, something happened, right? And yes, I find peace with the idea that I might get fucking killed with this job. And I almost, man, during the conflict with Saakashvili's regime in Georgia, I almost, many people were surprised that we actually make it. I was actually able to evacuate my family and run away from Saakashvili's controlled territory. They were surprised. They were thinking that I'm fucking dead, 100%. But we make it, man. We somehow, man, even I'm surprised. But somehow we actually make it, man, right? But if I was questioning the readiness of myself to die, man, I wouldn't be able to stand up to a regime and do what is right as a journalist and as editor-in-chief of the news agency at the time in 2008. So it's important stuff. If you are not ready to take all the steps that are necessary, then maybe you are not in a position that you should be. Maybe you are just taking someone else's position. Just saying, man. Right? Russian troops liberated their Pishana settlement in the Kharkov region. I reported about it in my yesterday's second live stream. And by the way, in case you don't know, yesterday evening I had second update at 9 p.m. Probably I will have second update today too if there is no technical issue or something, right? And original links to that second live stream is on my Patreon and Boosty pages in case you want to check it out, and in case you want to support my work, by the way, right? Because subscription on my Patreon and Boosty is a paid subscription, right? There is a free subscription too as an option, but if you want to support, then you have to be paid subscriber, right? And it starts from $5, by the way. Unfortunately, yesterday or day before, one member left our community. That was a $20 subscriber, so that's a big hit for the projector. That's how poor we are. But in terms of finance stuff, this project. But I'm grateful to that member, that former member of community, and to everyone else, by the way, that ever supported, supports, and will continue to support, because you are keeping me in this field. And even though time to time, like today, I might look like extremely frustrated, depressed, and all that stuff, which is true, by the way. I'm genuinely happy to be in this field, right? To be able to work with the news, share the news, share true emotions, real takes on different opinions, and hope that my experience and education will make these opinions of mine relevant, right? That's the all business plan that I had, really. Hope that my experience in journalism, my education, and also life experience in some ways will make my opinions and my judgments relevant. Sometimes I might be correct, sometimes I might be wrong, like any other human, right? But that's the strategy, really, that I have, right? And so, yes, let me drop once again link to my Patreon in the chat on both channels, by the way, on Rumble and YouTube. Okay, I forgot to make comments visible on the screen. I'll do it now. And okay, let's continue. Maybe I was talking about Patreon. Maybe this week we will have a few more new members. Maybe. Okay, by the way, I was talking about liberation of Pishana settlement, isn't it? In Kharkov region, that is. And I can show you the area, by the way. It's a northern tip of Kharkov region, right here, I believe. This is the Pishana area. There is no longer settlement in place. It's just a forestry, really. Sometime in the past, some 50 years ago, maybe, there was a settlement. Right now, there's only a few constructions left, right? But this is important update because clearly Russian militaries are continuing to create a buffer zone, right? So this is a part of this process of creating a buffer zone to secure bordering regions of the Russian Federation. And also, let me give you this update here. Okay. This mappers that are working on this map, marking this area under the Russian control. Nikiforovka settlement, okay, good. But I don't think this should be a surprise because I believe Fyodorovka II, Fyodorovka II is also under Russian control. At least report about it was in Russian media past week. So it's logical that in that case, this Nikiforovka settlement also under Russian control, or clearing operation is underway or something. This is DPR area, by the way, in any case. So yes, there is a progress on the ground too. Maybe not as rapid progress as we would like to see, right? When it comes to Russian advances, but still, initiative is in Russian hands, and Russian militaries are doing whatever is possible, basically, to achieve tasks of the special military operation that they've been given. And I think they are doing tremendous, fantastic job, by the way, given the circumstances, right? When their hands are tied behind their back. Every now and then people are asking why this advance of Russian troops taking so long. It's a 4 year now. Yes, it is a 4 year, by the way. And that's what happens when you tie the hands of your troops and give them order to achieve this and that. It takes time then, right? More time, much more time to achieve the goals. And if anything, Russian militaries should be praised, by the way, for achieving all their successes on the battlefield in these circumstances, when they simply cannot use all means necessary to achieve progress, right? They just cannot use all means that are necessary, and it is what it is, man. If I was a Russian president, I will tell Russian militaries, you know what? You have arsenal of all sorts of weapons. You guys have education. I would tell Russian generals. I would talk to general staff and I would tell them, you have to come up with a plan. You have freaking all the arsenal you need, right? You are professionals in this field. You know how to plan the wars, right? How to plan the battles. I don't. So therefore, I'm going to trust you. So you come up with a plan and you will have a green light from me. And I don't give a fuck what kind of weapons you would prefer to use. It's up to you to decide. You say we're going to use nukes, okay, I'll green light that. You say we're going to use freaking Oreshniks or whatever, okay, no issues there too. You are militaries. You have education that you talk in a military academy, not me, right? So I'm not going to argue on the matter that I have no freaking idea. So I would give Russian security services, Russian militaries, full carte blanche, by the way, full green light to use any weapons they want, or any strategy, any tactics they want. And I would give Russian security services, counterintelligence, FSB, all the others, GRU, all of them, total green light, by the way, right? To come up with whatever operations they will find necessary to deal with the enemies by any means, right? And any ways. That's what I would do. And I'm quite sure this operation special military operation in that case would end there literally in 2 weeks' time. Literally, maybe even less. And yes, maybe by doing so, by authorizing, greenlighting all their plans that security services and defense ministers will come up with, will guarantee me that, yeah, I'm gonna burn in hell, by the way, for that. Maybe, yes. But if I'm in a position of president, and if I'm responsible for safety and security of 150 million people, then either I have to be ready to sacrifice my fucking soul, or I should not be in that position to begin with. Because there are times when you have to make decisions that are fucking hard, man. Difficult, but this comes with the territory. Don't want to deal with the difficult decisions, go and work as a cleaner on the streets, man. And life gonna be, a little easier. Decisions in that case gonna be a little easier. Although not completely easy, because nothing is fucking easy in this life, right? Actually. Anyways. So you see, by the way, why this conflict is lasting for so long? That's why. When you tie hands of your security services and your militaries, then everything takes more time. Everything. Okay, by the way, I mean, I think I'm gonna end this program on that. I have tremendous freaking number of news left. That is about Middle East and some other news about economical topics, but I'm just too fucking emotional now, right? Not emotional, too freaking frustrated. So I'm gonna cool down a little bit, and I give you all the rest of the important news in today's second update during this evening at 9 p.m. Right, that will be better, I guess. Okay, I mean, there is a lot of freaking news, man. But yeah, will be better, I think, if I will share this later on. Okay, by the way, it's almost an hour that this rant of mine lasted. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. The entire program was a fucking rant, isn't it? Sometimes you just lose it, man. And someone is commenting, so you are revolt against Putin. Why, man? Just because you are just disagree with the president does not mean that you're gonna freaking revolt, man. What kind of mindset is that? That if you disagree with something, then you have to go against that someone and revolt and do some crazy stuff. How these are connected in the minds of some people, man? You can be in opposition, by the way, to anybody, right? Without seeing that opposite side to be your freaking enemies or something, right? We might have disagreements without considering each other to be enemies. We can be very critical of each other. It's all good, man. And I clearly disagree with the restraint policies and many other things, by the way, that I see, right? It's not just in regards to special military operation. I'm not happy that the fight against corruption is, despite the fact that it's going, I'm not happy with the speed of this fight, and I'm not happy that these corrupter freaking elements have not been executed. That's what I want. I want our corrupt officials to be executed, man. I don't want even a single ruble of Russian taxpayers to be spent to keep those motherfuckers alive in a prison that betrayed the people and steal the people's money. So that's another reason why I'm not okay with the Putin. Because he and his team considers corruption to be economical crime. I don't see this in the same way. I see corruption as a betrayal of the people, as a treason. And I want corrupt officials to be treated as prisoners with capital punishment and confiscation of everything they have, everything, right? To make sure that the country will at least get something back as a compensation or something. People, because this is the people we are talking about, people's interests, right? And these corrupt officials are betraying not just some country, right, that is written in the constitution and stuff. They are betraying people, and every country, literally every country. Only reason why these countries exist is to serve people, right? Countries should be servants of the people, no other way around. Because if it's the other way around, then people are becoming servants of the bureaucracy, because they represent country. You see what's going on? And so, yes, there. I can go in and on, by the way, but there are many topics that I have my takes, and someone else might have different takes. It's a topic for a different conversation, really. Okay, by the way, I'm gonna end this live stream on that, and later on today, maybe in a few hours time, by the way, I'm gonna just chill down a little bit, cool down a little bit, and maybe in 2-3 hours time, I will launch another live stream with the rest of the news, and I will add, I mean, in past 1 hour, 2 hours, probably there were some new reports, or maybe at 9, by the way, maybe at 9 in the evening. But there is quite a lot of stuff that is happening in regards to Middle East too, by the way. This is also true. But nothing that will surprise you, because I literally predicted freaking everything in regards to Middle East also. Everything, right? So if you are regular, no news gonna surprise you whatsoever. Okay, dear friends, thank you all. There was no super chat on Rumble. Let me check again. So yes, there was no super chat on Rumble. There was nothing either through PayPal or Boosty. So I have nothing to comment on, and I'm gonna end live stream on that. Once again, my apologies if I was just this rant. If this rant was too much for some members of our community, but yeah, I mean, I had I mean, that's a real talk, man. Rant or whatever, but that's a real talk, and I guess very many people are watching my programs exactly for real talk, right? And that's it, man. Okay, have a wonderful day, dear friends, and see you later. Bye.